Hello, Nick Grimshawe from Beautiful Summer Morning, and welcome. This is a Beautiful Summer Morning video presentation. Hello, Nick Grimshawe here from Beautiful Summer Morning, and welcome back to our series on keeping your gratitude practice fresh. And today we have a new concept to introduce to you. But first of all, this is a beautiful day here today. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, and I am so grateful for this day and my opportunity to be here with you. So, what are we going to be talking about today? It's called Poet. No, it's not about using poetry to keep your gratitude practice fresh. Phew. What it is about is it's an acronym for people, opportunities, experiences, and things. And it's a way of deepening your gratitude practice. I have a slideshow to show you how to use this concept in your daily practice. So here we are. I'll see you on the slides. The poet method. What is it? How do you use it to keep your gratitude practice fresh? First of all, I want to acknowledge Tim Sanders and give him a big sense of thankfulness and gratefulness for creating Poet. I didn't create it. I'm just using it to help you build your gratitude practice. And he developed this in a book that he was writing, Today We Are Rich. And I'll leave a link to the book down below in the show notes. Because of him, we have this opportunity to use this method to help us deepen our gratitude practice. So thank you, Tim Sanders. And I quickly want to review what we've done so far in the series. It helps us link and build and get to where we are today studying Poet. First of all, we talked about using our five senses to deepen and sparkle our gratitude. We worked on making our gratitude stand out. We talked about several different ways that we could do that. Then we talked about make it personal, how to lift gratitude off the page and into your real life, going out and telling somebody how much you appreciate, how much you're thankful for what they did for you. And today, it's Poet. And before I get into what Poet means and how to use it, I want to talk about, and I think I talked about this on most of the videos in this series, is why do we bother? Why do we need gratitude? Why should we bother with it? And it goes down to a fundamental process of change. And I'll use Wayne Dyer's quote. You've probably heard this before, but I think it goes to the absolute heart of spiritual growth and spiritual change and why it actually works. And that is, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Think about that. Nothing physical in the universe changes except how you look at them. Think about that. It's a miracle. Nothing happens until you change the way you look at something. And that's what Poet is going to do. It's going to help us change the way we look at things. So Poet is people, opportunities, experiences, and things. People. think about 4 people who have changed your life and express your gratitude for them in writing. Like, you make a list of these people and why they had such an impact on your life and why you appreciate how they helped you. For me, that person's name is Joan Hunter Holly. J. Hunter Holly was her writing name. And she helped me when I was 12, 14, in that age, and I was an aspiring writer, and I would clunk out my little stories that I was working on, and I would send them to her, and she would take the time to read them and reply to me. And I can't tell you the impact that had on my life, that somebody was willing. She didn't know me. We had never met. She was American. I was Canadian. We had a border between us. We didn't have instant communication like we have today. We used letters back and forth. I think I talked to her once on the phone. Amazing person who I am deeply grateful for. Now you can see I'm getting emotional talking about this, and that's what we need your gratitude to do, to bring out that emotion of appreciation. So think about those individuals. Who would go on your list? Opportunities. Again, now reflect on those opportunities that have showed up in your life, and usually an opportunity shows out of the blue. We don't necessarily plan for it, but they show up in our life, and because we took the opportunity, they changed our lives. So think about that. What would go on your list? For me, again, the opportunity was to live in Panama for 4 months. That was the first time. I didn't know a single person here in Panama. I'm recording this in Panama right now. I knew one man I contracted and paid to help me find a house to rent for 4 months in David, Panama. I met him when I got off the bus. He drove me to the house, introduced me to my landlord and landlady, and left. That was his job, to get me there, to get me in the house. I didn't barely speak a word of Spanish. They barely spoke a word of English. And it was my first night there. But that experience, or that opportunity, led to meeting one of my dearest best friends right now in my life. It led me to appreciate a different lifestyle, a different way of living that I would never have experienced otherwise. And that grew me in so many different ways and built my confidence in so many ways that I could just do this, go off and do this. It was an incredible opportunity and really an experience as well. Experiences. So what stand out in your life, experiences that you've had in your life that really stand out for you, that changed you again in a good way, that moved you sort of into another level of spirituality, a different level of awareness? For me, that was a train ride with my grandma across the country of Canada. Now, Canada, most people have a hard time with the concept of how big and vast Canada is, and it takes about 3 days in 2 nights, or maybe 3 nights and 4 days, I can't remember exactly, to get all the way across the country to Vancouver, where I met my two cousins that I've never met before. And it started my love affair with Vancouver, where I would spend 40 years of my life in total appreciation. What experiences do you have that moved you and had that impact on you? Think about that, write about that, feel the emotions that they bring up, the gratefulness that comes from those experiences. T is for things, and I'm not talking about ordinary things. Like, I mean, I'm grateful for this pen. It's a lovely pen. It writes smoothly. It's it's reliable. All those things. I'm glad I can afford to buy a better pen to use. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about looking at 4 things that really changed your life or did something powerful for you. For me, I wrote a story about this called The Magic Typewriter. When I was growing up, and I've talked about it before, Joan Hunter Hawley, I was an aspiring writer. I was doing everything longhand, and I wanted a typewriter. I grew up in a fairly poor family in that we didn't have a lot of extra money, but somehow my parents found the money, scraped together the money to buy me a secondhand typewriter so that I could clunk out my stories and send them to Joan Hunter Hawley to get her to critique them. I am so grateful for that typewriter because it made me feel like a writer. I had the tools of a writer in my hand. So what things have moved you in your life in that way? Implementing the poet method, I think I've got a workbook. So download the workbook. The link is in the show notes. And do it once over the vast time of your life. And pick 4 people, 4 opportunities, 4 experiences, and 4 things that really changed and moved your life in a profound way. That's the first way I suggest you use it. And the second way is as a monthly review of gratitude. Think about that. You have a monthly gratitude review. How awesome is that? To sit down once a month and find the 4 people that most influenced you that month and why you're grateful for them. To find 4 opportunities that occurred to you in the month and why you're grateful for those opportunities. 4 experiences that help lift you, change you, edify you in some way. And 4 things that had an impact during that past month. So at the end of April, you're looking back at your month of April and listing things out and thinking about, and just it helps you think about what you were grateful for and helps you notice mindfulness. See, it elevates right up into mindfulness. See how this all works together? It's really magic. So we need you hear that sigh? I'm just realizing I sighed on doing this video, but really it brings this method brings out the emotions of gratitude And really, I can feel them coming up through my body now. And when you get that emotion, then you get the elevated level of gratitude. And that is what brings change to your life. So embrace this idea of a poet. Go and do a lifetime review, if you want, of gratitude, and then start practicing a monthly review of gratitude. Use poet method. And don't forget to download the workbook because that will really help you move through these exercises. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please help us reach out to a larger audience. Hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit every single button you can find there, and help spread the word of keeping your gratitude practice fresh. Thank you for listening. It's been a beautiful summer morning presentation, and I'll meet you back in the studio for a wrap up. Okay, welcome back from the presentation and for our wrap up. And I hope you really enjoyed that presentation. I want you to comment about your experiences using the series, any part of the series, or if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions in the comment section below. Also, remember in the show notes, there'll be a link to the workbook that goes with this series, that goes with this particular series, Poet, that you can use it as a guide for practicing this poet and to do it as a review, because I think that's the absolute best use of this strategy. Thank you for listening. And be sure to hit those bells and whistles and all those, hit everything at on YouTube and help us reach out to a larger audience. We'd like to get this message about keeping gratitude fresh out into the world. We need more gratitude out there. Thank you. Have an awesome day. Remember to dream big and live inspired.